part two. This would be the time where like I said before, we're going to re-silicone the tank. Now, re-siliconing the tank is honestly my I hate it. I just don't like it. It hurts my fingers. I always get cuts because we use a razor blade. It's meticulous, takes a lot of patience. Then you have to let it dry. Then you have to test it. I don't know, it's just an annoying step. But it's a very important step. If you don't really silicone this tank, or any tank that you might get that is older, that hasn't been used in many years, it's been sitting out in the garage, whatever, you have a potential for really an explosion. Uh, this could either be from a seam that is weak and therefore it bursts open and hence the explosion. That doesn't really work. I was gonna say the count work. It's not as possible with maybe a smaller tank. Might just get a small leak to it, but you get the bigger tank, especially 100 gallons and up. You get so much pressure from that tank that if a seam or a crack is weakened, and it just goes everywhere. And I don't know about you, but I would not want any amount of gallons of water in my house, not in a tank or in the sink or in a drain. I just had that happen a few weeks ago with my 20 gallon. There was a small little overflow with the filter, and it was just slowly leaking. And man, it was just a few gallons of water, but it sat there for a couple days, and I had to move everything. I had to clean everything. I had to put drying stuff down. I had to run fans. I had to run air fresheners. It is a nuisance. So you want to make sure that this is correct. This is done well. But also remember, it's not hard to do. Don't be afraid of it. It just takes a little bit of effort, and if you do it right, it'll work. I promise. So here's some steps and some little tips on how to re-silicone a tank. Lots of videos out there to do it. I just want to show it because it's part of the process for this particular build, and I want to do it right. So without further ado, here is my tutorial, which is probably not as good as some other ones, but I think it'll do the job. Enjoy. Alright, so what I've done is I have taken the tank outside, brought it in. I have a nice area. This is my cat Kronk. A nice area for stuff to work on. I am going to now take a razor blade, which I have over here. And pull off all the silicone. Actually, some of the silicone is not even on here, so definitely needs to be fixed and be cleaned up, and we're gonna do that right now. Very easy to do. Straight razor blade, running along the edge here, peel it all up. Like I said before, this stuff's gonna be really easy to pull off. That's what we're gonna do. One of the concerns that some people have in trying to get the silicone off the tanks is that when they get done, all this stuff down at the bottom is all sticking. It's really hard to get off. Quick trick, vacuum cleaner. Easy way to do it, sucks it right up. Still have some silicone down there that's maybe kind of still being a problem. You can just rub your hands on it. Pops it all back up. You can run the vacuum over it again. So the next step for prepping your aquarium for silicone application is you want to
get all the oils and everything off and get any of the little bits of debris that might be left in there. It's not as important in the application process that you get the bottom of the tank completely clean, or even the sides of the tank completely clean. Really, the important thing is getting the seams where the silicone's going to go, because it needs to attach completely to the glass. And if you can think it's just going to be, you can just use water. You still have oils. You have oils on your hands. You have different kind of maybe things that have been sitting in the tank, or if the tank has been in storage for a long time, you're going to need to completely wipe it down so it's just straight glass. Best thing to do, use rubbing alcohol. You just get this at your store, most your grocery stores, drugstores, things like that. It's really great because not only will it wipe it down, it'll disinfect it, it'll remove the oils, and it dries really fast. You can pretty much just wipe it down and almost immediately it'll be dry. So it's really, really great to use to prep your surfaces for silicone. So you just apply it generously to a paper towel or a regular towel, and you begin wiping the tank down. Don't be afraid to rub it, because one of the things you're going to be also doing is trying to, I mean, it's not a ton, but there's still a little bit of dirt that you're going to be getting, as well as you're going to be pulling off any of the little bits of silicone that maybe weren't pulled off when you vacuum. So we have cleaned off all the silicone. I ended up going a little bit further than I had originally said earlier, where I wasn't going to necessarily do all of the silicone on the inside. However, I've changed my mind. There was a little bit of moisture in some of the bottom seals. Couldn't really tell if it was from the outside or the inside, because we had cleaned the tank and filled it up and run water through a whole bunch outside, and so some of the water got into the trim, and so I worked on that a lot, and I got most of the moisture out. I'm like 95% sure it was just moisture in the trim, but better safe than sorry. And I guess some dad advice would be, if you're gonna do it right. Do it first, do it right, do it completely, so you don't have to redo it again. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be doing, is I kind of just want to do it all, do it right, then I don't have to worry about it for another 10 years, or that's about how long silicone is thought to last with a fish tank. So that's what we're going to do. What we're going to now do is we're going to take some 100% silicone with nothing in it but silicone. We're going to cut the tip off, we're going to stick it in here, we're going to run a bead up each side, and then we're going to smooth that out. With the silicone being such a strong, there's a chemical in here that helps. It's almost like a vinegary smell. It's really, really strong. So either you want to do it outside or you want to ventilate. So we're going to open a window and run a fan while we'll do it, and try to get this thing done tonight so we can leave it a couple days so it can cure. You really aren't supposed to put water in a tank until at least 48 hours. I'd honestly say by the time we end up getting to the point of putting water in this, probably be almost a week. So we'll see. It's been a few days. The silicone is plenty cured. What we are going to now do is we're going to take a brand new sharp razor blade and we will run this blade up. I've already played with it a little bit just to make sure it works right. Run our blade up and grab as much of that silicone as we can, but create a nice smooth edge. Alright, so I have cleaned all the silicone off as much as I felt necessary. Looks pretty good, I think, in my opinion. Now we're going to go to... Whoa. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This was supposed to be the ultra super fun, not really, but boring silicone reseal project. We can't get to the actual building until the next video. Now you'll have to wait about another week because I will be at a camp helping with camp stuff. So I won't be able to post a video this coming week. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It definitely will be an improvement for the next few videos based on this super exciting scrape silicone off and put silicone on video, you know, because that's fun. So yeah, we are going to move on to building the actual insides of the tank. We're going to be putting in some filtration, some waterfall features, some rock, substrate, things like that, and then we're moving on to the turtle and other things. Ooh. But you'll have to find out in the next couple videos how that goes. Besides that, have a wonderful, blessed day. I have a little turtle.